Over the course of this awards ceremony, we're going to give awards in 5 categories. Some of you here, I look out, are part of the selection committee that made these decisions, a selection committee made up of past award winners, of some of the leading academicians in the United States, of federal government, local government individuals, people who are really specialized in this area, and it's they who came together and made the decisions that we're about to honor today.
It takes a special person to appreciate wetlands, because wetlands are messy and disorderly and not well appreciated, and they sort of violate our Western sense of order. It's that messy transition between land and water, and it takes a special kind of person to be able to sell that to the public, to be able to get and make any progress. The challenge that we face going forward is finding more heroes and finding new ways of dealing with the challenges we face, because we're going to have to run even faster just to stay in place. So I think that as we go forward, we're going to need to find a lot of new partners and a lot of people whose interest is in restoring these ecosystems, but for reasons that aren't on the center of our plate right now. They don't care about the ecosystem and the habitat. They're looking at meeting a permit under EPA, and that's why they're restoring it. So I would urge everybody to look for new ways of finding new partners. And also, I think, new ways of talking about the work that we do.
When I first started in this wetland world, it's a lot what Skip was saying, is that you'd ask people, like, what do you think about wetlands? And there was 3 camps. There was one camp that was, I love them, and it's someone who, loved going out and getting dirty when they were young and catching a frog, or it's someone who's a bird watcher, or a kayaker, or a fisher, or a hunter. They loved wetlands. Then there was the next case of like, ew, they're smelly, they breed mosquitoes, and they prevent me and my relative from being able to fill things, and they're terrible. And then the third one was that camp of people, it's like, wetlands, how are they part of my life? And I'm here to tell you that I'm actually feeling pretty optimistic now, because I think we've made a big shift, and it's a lot of the same thing that Skip has been saying, and it's a lot of the work that we've been doing for the last couple of years, is really telling people that wetlands are one of those systems that whether you know it or not, they're working for you while you're sleeping.
I first began working at the Malibu Lagoon in 1996. Then I was a svelte, 180 pounds, wide-eyed, bushy-tailed, ready to go, flowing mane of beautiful brown hair. Oh, I remember it well. And we overcame many, many obstacles in those 16 years, which enabled us to be able to restore Malibu Lagoon. I wouldn't be much of an environmentalist if I didn't take a couple seconds to preach. And it's just far cheaper, smarter, and ecologically better if we could protect those resources instead of having to invest 17 years and countless hours and millions of dollars to restore them. By preserving our wetlands and our buffer areas, our streams and our floodplains, we not only ensure superior flood protections, but we get cleaner water. Our best technology, or the best technology we know of for clean water, is wetlands and streams, and they do a better job of removing pollutants than all the engineering solutions that we've come up with.
We just did an interesting experiment at Gulf Specimen. I wanted for you to explain all these different creatures. There's hundreds of different invertebrates and creatures and everything else. We have signs all over the place. I didn't like that idea, but we did the best we could. Then I said, aha, we're going to put up television screens. So we raised the money somewhere and put up these great big televisions with, with little video clips and pictures of all these other things. And we spent, a few thousands of dollars doing this, and then came the drum roll when we had our first class, and the pictures were playing, and in comes the kids, and they all look at the touch tanks and everything else. Nobody looked at the TV. Nobody's ever looked at the TV. That's not totally true, but the fact is live creepy crawlers, if you can reach your hand in and an octopus holds your hand with you, that's a life-changing experience. You pick up a spider crab or a horseshoe crab, or you pick up a sea squirt and watch it squirt and it comes to life, that's real. The cathode ray tube, the iPad, whatever else it is, we're living in the shadow of reality, not reality. Our job and our focus is to give them reality, and that's what we've kind of been doing.
I've also been, as was mentioned before, been studying our prairie potholes. There's about 2 or 3 million depressions in eastern Dakotas formed by the glaciers of about 10,000 years ago. Those hold water when there's plenty of moisture, and a lot of them have been drained. Iowa's lost all their wetlands, western Minnesota's lost all their prairie wetlands, the Dakotas still have about half of theirs left. The issue was, okay, you've got wetlands in a fairly dry region, it's windy, it's hot in the summer, the rainfall is moderate. What is going to happen when the climate warms up? And it turned out, as we would guess, these are sort of fragile ecosystems. They're sort of on the knife edge, especially in the western part of the range where it's drier. And a little bit of temperature increase in the models that we developed looked like these wetlands might lose their function if we go to the 2 to 4 degree centigrade ranges that have been forecast. And that's something we got interested in, so we've been developing computer models for 20 years now to better refine this kind of estimate. And the bottom line of that work now is that a 1 to 1.5 degree increase in temperature from here on, these wetlands can tolerate reasonably well. There'll be impacts, but not severe impacts. But if we go to 2 degrees or 3 or 4, we've got real problems. These wetlands are going to lose their function. We don't want to go to 4 degrees centigrade warmer, or this wonderful system that contributes so much biodiversity to our northern plains and so much waterfowl and wildlife will essentially be non-functional.
The essence of this award really belongs to all those that work in Minnesota and across the nation on conserving and managing wetlands, and particularly those who, because of their location or circumstance, escape recognition for their accomplishments and their commitment. If the President were here tonight, I would like to think that he would remind all of us that whether we work for a public agency, for a nonprofit organization, in education, a for-profit company that has a public mission, or as a volunteer, that we should take great pride in what we do.
Ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't get any better than this. It doesn't get any better than sharing the experiences of people that we treasure, of individuals we value, of a dedication to environment that we all share. It doesn't get any better than that. Skip, you challenged us at the beginning. You started us out, and what did you say? You told us we need more heroes, and I think we delivered tonight. We delivered.